Welcome back to the Quiet Impact Podcast. And this is the space for introverted leaders and entrepreneurs who want to grow their influence, their income, and their visibility without becoming someone that we're not. If you've ever felt that pressure to be louder, more visible, more on, to build a personal brand, today's episode is for you. We're talking about how introverted entrepreneurs can build a strong, magnetic, personable brand with clarity, consistency, and with authentic connection, not hype, not hustle, or constant performance. Let's get to it, shall we? We shall. Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast, where we nurture the journey of introverts who desire to achieve greater levels of influence, income, and impact. The go-to podcast for introvert achievers just like you, seeking purpose-driven growth. I am your host, Stephanie Oden. Welcome back to the Quiet Impact Podcast. I'm Stephanie Oden, and building a strong personal brand as an introverted entrepreneur doesn't require you to be loud or flashy or be everywhere at once, but it does require intentionality. We're not shy, we're not timid, we're not needing to be fixed. We're an introvert, and that is our superpower. Introverted AF. Like I already said, it doesn't require you to be loud, necessarily flashy, everywhere at once. You can actually ramp up to that, but it does require intentionality. It does require clarity, and it does require authentic connection. And here's something for you. Authentic connection isn't always external. You have to be authentically connected to who you are. So today's episode is for the thoughtful founder, the thoughtful entrepreneur, the quiet achiever. It's the one who knows that they have something meaningful to offer, but zilch desire to perform for attention. Like that is just not us. Many of us all know how to show up because we're high achievers. We're actually, some of us are ambiverts, that we're able to actually extrovert very well. But we do not like performing for the sake of performing. So if you've ever felt like, oh, this pressure to market, because I felt it. I've been in different organizations, different companies where I felt like, oh my gosh, they're a superstar. I need to market like them. If you ever have felt like you need to market like somebody else or market like somebody you're not, this conversation is going to be an exhale. We're going to clear some stuff up. So right now, let's do a big old exhale. You don't need to become a performer. You don't need to post constantly on every platform. But if you want to post on every platform, you can. You don't have to do it manually, though. You don't have to manufacture a high energy or this extroverted presence. But I also know that something happens when you talk about something that's passionate to you. There's a natural energy that flows out of you. That manufacture high energy, that extroverted presence, that's not the model. That wasn't designed for you. Your brand is going to grow through sharing value consistently, not necessarily constantly. Consistent, but not constant. There's a difference. It's going to have you showing up in ways that feel naturally and ones that you can sustain. It's going to be built through depth instead of noise. It's not going to be like clanging cymbals. It's going to be through depth. So introverted branding is not about shrinking. You know, we don't shrink. Typically we rise. It is about precision, and it's about protecting your energy. When your energy is protected, your message has the ability to land stronger. Here's step one. Step one is define your brand identity. Before strategy, before platforms, before content plans, before hiring somebody to do all of your marketing for you, there's identity. And most entrepreneurs I talk to want to skip this step. They want to be everybody for everything because what they have to offer has been so transformational in our lives, so transformational in their lives that everybody needs this. But I want you to stop. I want you to stop. And I want you to ask yourself, who am I? What do I care about? Who do I help specifically? And typically that person is the person you used to be. What transformation do I help people achieve? One of the things that I help people do, help people do, is to gain clarity, figure out their authentic voice, and help them show up on different platforms as themselves. And just as important is, what do I want to be known for? And what do I not want to be known for? I want to be known as the one who's shining the light inside a place that the person can see themselves. And it's a logical step for them to step to what I'm offering. So what do you really care about? Who do you want to help specifically? What transformation do you help them achieve? And what do you not want to be known for? Your personality is not a liability. It's actually a differentiator. And what's really great about us is because we tend to be thoughtful, deep listeners, reflective thinkers, meaningful communicators. We tend to be emotionally aware. We tend to be able to read the energy. Like these are not soft traits like they used to be considered. It used to be considered soft if you were empathetic or soft if you had emotional intelligence. No, these are superpowers. And our goal is to build on them intentionally as we set up our brand. Step number 2, choose introvert friendly brand strengths. You do not need to force yourself into visibility formats that drain you. Because if it drains you, I don't care what marketing guru tells you to do it. You will either do it and suck because you won't come in with the energy, or do it and it won't be authentic, so you're defeating your purpose, or do it haphazardly, or do something less that you really care about. You're allowed to lead with what feels natural. There are so many ways to put yourselves out there. So many. It could be writing newsletters, it could be blogs, it could be posts, it could be podcasting, it could be voice notes, it could be interviews, it could be storytelling, it could be one-on-one communication through emails and workshops and coaching conversations and spotlighting guests. The goal is not to do everything. Choose 1 or 2 primary lanes, possibly 3, and commit to them. And repurpose content, because the people that may see you on Facebook may not see you on LinkedIn. They may not see you on your email list. So it's okay. So when I say commit to 1 or 2 primary content lanes and commit to them, that doesn't mean you're creating necessarily completely new content, but you're creating content that still speaks to your authenticity and to who you are. And the message lands because you're showing up. Step 3, create value-driven content, not attention-driven content. Now, this is not the first time I've talked about this. Going viral does not pay bills. It does not get you paid. Introvert brands grow through resonance, not hype. Your best content, and I've tried this, I do this, I've proven this. Your best content will sound like clarity, not noise. Your best content will sound like, well, I know what she does. She's that person. I know. And your content will land. Even if people aren't your ideal customer, They resonate with the clarity that you put out there. So, what are some effective content that might make sense for an introvert? Okay. Lessons learned and behind the scenes insights, case studies and sharing different frameworks, thoughtful opinion pieces, quiet, grounded storytelling, or step by step problem solving. Now, any of those you can do in a text form, in a blog, in a reel, in a long form video, in a long form post, any of those. But those are some ways that effective content might work for you. Because here's the thing, when your audience feels understood, they trust you. Now, I know I've talked about, know, like, and trust doesn't mean that they will buy from you, but if they don't trust you, they're more than likely not going to buy from you. But what I love about introvert friendly strategies is when they feel understood, trust forms. The moment they think, wow, you get me, your brand has done this job. Remember, on most of the social media platforms, they are showing your audience what your audience has said that they want to see. So when you create the content that says, man, she gets me, and they like it, it quickly comes back and it shows them your content on a regular basis. And it's usually the moment in this introvert entrepreneur's life, after you've done that step, that you realize that, hey, I'm out here, I got clarity. You also need a structure that does not drain you. You got clarity, you're consistent, they're hanging out, but you're still doing a little bit too much. So, just a quick note here, because this often comes up when I talk about systems and sustainabilities. One of the reasons I'm able to build my brand calmly without this constant pressure of visibility fatigue, it's because I'm plugged into a solid business system that doesn't rely on me being on all the time. That's why I connected with the Home Business Academy. It gives me structure, tools, training, support, long term income, brand growth without forcing a hustle mentality or without loud marketing tactics. I am connected. Remember, I talked about being connected to who you are. I'm connected to who I am, which allows me to put it out there, and I have tools that let me do that. So if you're someone who wants the business side to feel a little bit steadier and more predictable, I'll have a link in the show notes so you can explore it quietly and determine if that's a fit for you. Now back to the conversation. Step 4, build relationships, not just reach. This is our jam. This is our jam. You don't need to build a massive audience to build a meaningful brand. I know people that have many more people on their emailer list than me. But I see connection and relationships with those on my email list. And look, when you have, first of all, you need an email list. And people will unsubscribe from your email list. This is a bonus. This is a little nugget I'm dropping in here because I know how you are. I know what you're thinking. Let me build this massive email list and people aren't reading it. And oh, don't let somebody unsubscribe. Listen, it's okay. Let them unsubscribe. Let them. It gives you a tone of who is not ready for you right now. What would you rather have? A whole bunch of people who aren't opening your stuff, who aren't reading it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I got this huge number of people on my email list. Or do you want to keep the people that are on there, keep connecting into them, knowing your content's landing, knowing they're reading without necessarily getting back to you. And when your offer hits them where they are, they say yes, they reach out to you. While you keep attracting other people who are also aligned with what you're talking about, and you're creating more aligned relationships. So what is aligned relationships? What else could it look like? personalized welcome message, intentional masterminds, coffee chats with other collaborators. Just, hey, you want to get on and talk for about 20 minutes? Let's have a conversation. Thoughtful content, thoughtful comments. When you comment on other people's information, when you check on other people, when you drop into their inbox, not to sell them something, but to say, hey, I was thinking about you. How are you? Guest appearances on other people's opportunity, on other people's shows, rather than hosting it yourself. These are some ways that you can create that relationship and increase your reach. I already talked about, and if you didn't watch it, go back to the podcast where I talked about other people's stages, and being on them really is stewardship. And the more people that connect with you on a deep level, it builds loyalty and trust. It builds a longevity that they stay. Because the big email list, reach without connection is fragile. It's built on sinking sand because they're not buying, they're not engaging, they're just there. But connection without noise is powerful. No, email is not dead. Do you read emails? Yes, I do. I read the emails from people who I like hearing from. And here's step 5. Incorporate your quietness as part of your brand. If you choose to, right? I choose to. And I choose to in a way that it it speaks to who I am. It speaks so loudly that I have people tell me, well, you are not an introvert. You can't be because you're out there and you're communicating. When you are clear and you have an authentic connection with yourself, you don't need to hide it. You can name it or not. I choose to position it, own it. What's so amazing about standing in the place and being clear, having authentic connection with the people that you talk to, having authentic connection with yourself and who you are. I have extroverts come to me because they relate to what I talk about. They relate to what I talk about. As a matter of fact, I have someone that I've known for years, and she's been liking all my posts, and she's like, I don't understand why I connect with you so much. I'm clearly not an extrovert, and I know I'm not an extrovert, but I see you posting things like I relate to that too. So we had a conversation, and the conversation was she shared some of her struggles with ADHD, and she said, sometimes for me, it's about, the capacity. And it was a light bulb moment. And I said, that's why you connect so much with what I share. It's because when I talk about us being in front of people, when I talk about our visibility, when I talk about us standing in the place and leading from where we're called to lead from, I'm coming from a place of energy management. I'm coming from a place of how do I make sure I have the capacity to do that? And that was such a profound aha moment, is because, like, oh, that's why I'm so plugged in. I said, yes, because a lot of introverts, we manage our capacity. So we have capacity for the things that matter for us. Often, what it looks like when we talk about making your quietness as part of your brand, it could be helping entrepreneurs succeed without burnout, without hustle, or without that spotlight pressure. Or it could be a strategy for thoughtful founders who value depth over noise. This does something important. It filters for your people. It filters out everyone else. When that happens, when you filter out for your people and you filter out everyone else, and that person unsubscribes from your email list, that's not exclusion. That is alignment. There's people who I consider them, I've only met them online, but I consider them soulmates because that's how deeply we connected. I am involved and invested in their lives, in their business, and likewise, the same thing for me. And we haven't met yet, but we know there's a connection. Step 6, protect your energy with systems. We thrive with structure. Now, we don't thrive with rigid boundaries. There's a difference, but we thrive with structure. Chaos is expensive. I see it as, things just pinging all over the place. That's expensive. Not only physically, financially, energetically expensive. And your brand should support your nervous system, not compete with it. So, what are some of the things you can do? Batch content. Love it. Hey, all the scheduling that we get to do on the different platforms, that is our BFFFFFF. Best friend forever. Pre-recorded conversations instead of live performances. Automated onboarding and nurture sequences. Schedule on days and intentional recharge days. Schedule on hours and intentional recharge time. And also using templates for repeated communication. It's okay that it's a template. Sometimes a template actually helps you because people are busy. Typically, you attract who you are. They're busy too. And if you give them something that's in a template form, they go right to what they need to see to get what they need to take the next step. It's not about rigidity. It's about sustainability. Because when our energy is protected, our creativity that we need to tap into, that capacity, that container that we need to tap into, it stays available because we're protecting our energy. Let me just give you a final reminder. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to be super extroverted presence. You do need to be clear. You do need to be consistent. You do need to be more yourself. Your authenticity carries farther than value ever could. If you go to my page, there's some things that you will notice that are consistent. That's what I want for you. A consistent message, a consistent alignment, a consistent voice that you will hear. And when your brand is built to fit how you actually operate, growth stops feeling exhausting and it starts feeling sustainable. That's quiet impact. If what I've talked about today resonates with you, you really don't have to figure out alone. Inside the Introvert Achievers Network, I support thoughtful, capable women who are building their influence, their income, and their visibility in ways that fit how they're wired, how we're wired. It's a calm, supportive community for introverts who want clarity without pressure, growth without burnout, structure without rigidity, and accountability that feels supportive and not performative. What we do is we focus on aligned systems, strategic clarity, and authentic visibility. So your personal brand can grow without costing you your peace or without extroverted gyrations that are not authentically you. If you're ready for this community that values depth over noise and progress over hustle, you're welcome to join us. You'll see information for the community in the show notes. That's it for this episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast. Thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let me know any insights that you have from this episode. I would love to hear your takeaways. Remember to head to my website, grab a copy of the Success Pillars for Quiet Achievers. It's a resource I created for you. And join us next week. Thank you for watching. listening, and subscribing. See you next time.